chilling case of Sativa Transue. The 4 a.m. screams everyone ignored. It was just another morning, until the phone rang. At 9 a.m. on a quiet November day in 2021, Jamie Beaulieu glanced at her phone and saw a number she didn't recognize. She nearly ignored it, thinking it was just another scam call. But when she answered and heard the words, Sativa Transue, dead, and hotel room, her entire world shattered. Her 26-year-old daughter, full of life and laughter, had gone on a Thanksgiving vacation to Cancun, Mexico with her longtime boyfriend. And now she was gone. Just like that. What was supposed to be a tropical escape turned into a horrific tragedy. Jamie didn't have time to grieve. She needed answers. She needed justice. And as the days unfolded, what she and the world would discover about Sativa's final hours would not only shock a community, but reveal the terrifying truth about what can hide behind a smiling face and a picture-perfect relationship. Sativa Transue was sunshine in human form, until darkness found her. Born on May 19, 1995, in Spokane, Washington, Sativa grew up in the close-knit town of Cheney with her parents and beloved younger sister, Michaela. The two weren't just siblings. They were best friends who shared secrets, dreams, and late-night laughs. Sativa was voted Most Contagious Laugh in high school, a title that perfectly captured her spirit. After graduating in 2013, she pursued exercise science at Eastern Washington University and dreamed of working in health and wellness. She had big plans, including opening dispensaries and becoming a licensed massage therapist. After college, she moved to Milton, Washington, where she quickly built a new life and new friendships with her warm, bubbly personality. Then she met Taylor Allen. On the surface, he seemed like the quiet, caring opposite to Sativa's spark. But beneath his calm exterior was a storm brewing. Sativa's friends noticed the changes. She became distant, quiet, and isolated. What started as a seemingly normal relationship would unravel into something sinister. Taylor's possessiveness, paranoia, and control began suffocating the joy out of Sativa's life. And tragically, no one knew how dangerous it would become. Over time, what began as subtle signs of control in Taylor Allen's behavior turned into a full-blown nightmare for Sativa Transue. Taylor's paranoia led him to install invasive tracking software that mirrored every single message Sativa received directly onto his laptop. What he painted as protective was, in truth, obsessive surveillance. He constantly accused her of cheating, questioned her whereabouts, and created an environment so toxic that Sativa began to withdraw from her closest friends and even family. Taylor's manipulation didn't stop with words. It turned physical. Sativa's sister, Michaela, recalled visiting their apartment and seeing large holes punched into walls, shattered furniture, and broken shelves. Yet Taylor was always conveniently absent during those visits. Sativa brushed off the concerns, trying to maintain the illusion that everything was okay. But behind closed doors, she was walking on eggshells. To make matters worse, Taylor descended into drug addiction and illegal dealing, adding volatility to an already fragile situation. When he wasn't violently lashing out, he was threatening suicide if Sativa ever left him, a manipulation tactic that kept her emotionally chained to the relationship. Friends noticed the change in her once vibrant personality. She had gone from joyful and bubbly to quiet, nervous, and withdrawn. Sativa was clearly not safe. She wanted to leave. She tried. But Taylor always found a way to reel her back in, with fear, with guilt, with control. And it was this toxic dynamic that ultimately followed her to Cancun. Thanksgiving 2021 was supposed to be a moment of reconnection for Sativa and her family. She had longed to visit home, see her loved ones, and maybe even gather the strength to finally break free from Taylor for good. But instead, Taylor proposed a sudden vacation to Cancun, Mexico, his attempt at distraction, control, or perhaps something even darker. Despite the timing and her original plans, Sativa agreed to go. Cancun was her favorite place in the world, and those close to her believed Taylor used that detail to manipulate her decision. Once they arrived, Sativa seemed happy on the surface. She sent cheerful texts, shared sunny vacation photos, and tried to embrace the escape. But only 2 days into the trip, her communication abruptly stopped. Friends who had been in constant contact were suddenly met with silence. Then came the message that shattered everyone's nerves. Sativa had been injured, she said, and needed stitches after a fight with Taylor had gotten physical. Panic set in. No one could reach her. No calls answered. No texts replied. Her family could feel something was wrong, but they were thousands of miles away, helpless, and running out of time. What happened that final night in Cancun remains one of the most disturbing and frustrating chapters of this case. After an argument sparked by Taylor flirting with another woman at the hotel bar, tensions boiled over. Security had to intervene and escorted them back to their room, instructing Sativa not to let Taylor out again that night. But the violence didn't stop. Guests later reported hearing female screams from the room, and eventually, Sativa appeared in the hotel lobby with a deep gash on her chin, so severe it required stitches. She claimed it was an accident, that she fell, that Taylor didn't hurt her, but anyone who knew the history between them had a sinking feeling she was covering for him again. Hotel staff moved them to a ground-floor room to prevent further outbursts, yet later that night, more screams were heard from the same room. This time, no one reported them. No one intervened. The next morning, Taylor casually walked to the reception desk and said his girlfriend was unconscious. What authorities found was far more horrifying than anyone imagined. Sativa was found face down on the floor, her body battered beyond recognition, covered in bruises, scratches, and injuries that told the story of a violent struggle. Her purse was still on her shoulder, as if she had been trying to leave, trying to escape. But she never got the chance. Taylor, nearly twice her size, had overpowered and ended her life, and those who heard her final cries for help stayed silent. In the aftermath of Sativa's brutal death, her family faced not only unimaginable grief, but also the daunting challenge of seeking justice across international borders. Because the crime occurred in Cancun, the case fell under Mexican jurisdiction, which presented serious obstacles: language barriers, travel expenses, and a legal system they didn't fully understand. Sativa's sister, Michaela, immediately sprang into action. She launched a GoFundMe campaign to cover the costs of bringing Sativa's body back home and to hire a private attorney to help push the case forward. By December 8, 2021, the family had secured a Mexican lawyer to work alongside the prosecution, and one day later, Sativa was flown home to Washington for burial. Despite early momentum, justice has moved slowly. Over 2 years later, Taylor Allen still has not been sentenced. His trial has been delayed repeatedly, and rumors have surfaced that, while in Mexican prison, he tried to align himself with a cartel in hopes of escaping or manipulating his outcome. As of now, prosecutors are seeking the maximum 50-year sentence for femicide under Mexican law. But to Sativa's loved ones, even that doesn't feel like enough. They continue to wait, angrily, painfully, for true accountability. Sativa Transue's story is a haunting reminder of how love can turn into control, and how silence in the face of abuse can lead to irreversible tragedy. She was a vibrant, kind-hearted young woman with dreams, loved by many, but her life was stolen by the very person who claimed to care for her. What's worse, justice has been painfully slow. 2 years later, her family is still waiting for answers, for accountability, for peace. If you're watching this and you're in a relationship that feels unsafe, please don't wait. Reach out. Speak up. There are people who will believe you, who will fight for you. Let Sativa's story serve as a warning, but also a call to action for all of us. If this case moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. And above all, stay safe. We'll see you in the next story.